Dak Prescott is criminally underrated, not just by national media, but also by many Dallas Cowboys fans. I understand that in his 7 full years as the Cowboys starter, that they've only won one playoff game, but it's not like they had any more postseason success before him in the last 30 years. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Still, with an overall record as a starter of 69-39, he deserves a large amount of credit for keeping Dallas hopes alive year in and year out. This season in particular, he's made a leap forward, and he's cemented himself as a top 10 quarterback, and I'm not convinced he's outside the top 5 at this point. We'll figure out exactly where he belongs later. Let me start with the high-level stats for the 2023 season. Dak currently ranks 6th in passing yards, with 2 people in front of him who haven't had a bye week yet, 2nd in completion percentage, 2nd in touchdowns, 2nd in passer rating and QBR, and he's 4th in yards per pass attempt. Essentially top 5 in all of the major categories. You might remember the big knock against him is that he throws a ton of interceptions. Or at least that's what the media would like you to believe based on one outlying season last year. In reality, his career interception percentage is below 2% at 1.9. Compare that to players who are lauded as guys who take great care of the ball, and Patrick Mahomes at 1.7%, Russell Wilson 1.8%, and Tom Brady also 1.8%. He's right in line with those guys, but my guess is due to him being on the Cowboys and falling below media expectations for the postseason, he's been labeled a turnover machine. Compare that to a quarterback who is a front runner for MVP currently in Jalen Hurts. His turnover percentage is 2.1 for his career and a whopping 2.8% this season. So why can't Dak get any respect? Even in his own division, I see more positive articles, tweets, etc. about Hurts and even Sam Howell, the guy that leads the league in yards, but also sacks taken and interceptions. Meanwhile, you've just got Dak leading the highest scoring offense in the league, but the narrative is that the Cowboys can only beat teams with losing records. Now I realize they have only beat teams with losing records to this point, but they can't help what their schedule is. That Arizona game is a real head scratcher, but being that it was week 3 and nobody really knew what to make of Joshua Dobbs at that point, I'll give them a break. Dak will also need to figure out how to score more than 10 points on San Francisco if he wants to make it to the Super Bowl this year, but that's for future Dak to worry about. Right now, the Cowboys are staring down the barrel of a closing schedule that includes Philadelphia, at Buffalo and Miami, home versus Detroit, and finishing up against Washington. 4 of those games are against some of the heaviest hitting offenses in the league. They will demand that Dak puts up serious points in order to leave with the win. If Dallas can win out or even go 4-1 as long as they beat Philly, then there's a strong chance they can win their division and will be competing for the first round bye in the playoffs. So what this stretch can do for Dak is prove his haters right, or compel more people to begin listing him in the upper echelon of NFL quarterbacks. No more Kirk Cousins comparisons and claiming he fades away in the limelight. Dak has the opportunity in front of him to change the narrative in Dallas. Quarterback of the top scoring offense in the league, first place in the NFC East and potentially entire NFC, and at least an NFC Championship appearance will secure his top 5 status. So let's talk about it. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is number 1 until I tell you otherwise. But after that, I think you can go in any number of directions. You've got Allen, Herbert, Burrow, Hurts, Lamar, Tua, and Dak that are all in the conversation. I'll give it another year before I allow the Stroud truthers in here. But I want to really take a second to look over this list and explain why I have Dak in there. To me, Lamar is ahead of him for sure. Not only does he have the pass success, but he's having another elite level season from an efficiency standpoint and is making game-winning plays. He's unorthodox at times, but Jackson to me is number 2. Justin Herbert just can't win. And maybe it's coaching, but winning matters. And he's also the least efficient on this list, completing just 66% of his passes and just 7 yards per attempt. He might be 6. Josh Allen leads the league in touchdowns, but also interceptions, and his ability to use his legs to make plays also separates him. I'll give him the 3 spot for now. Burrow is hurt too much at this point in his career to list him in the top 5. I know he was elite last year, but whether I'm going with his full career or currently, I can't quite place him here. So that leaves Hurts, Tua, and Dak. Tua is on an elite offense with elite weapons, and he's been extremely efficient. Hurts is in a similar situation with less efficiency, but he brings just an extra layer of his game with his ability to run. I know I used him as a negative statistic a little bit ago, but I'm going to have to put Hurts at number 4 and Dak at number 5. Tua, Herbert, and a healthy Joe Burrow can fight for the next few spots at this point, because to me, there's no argument. Dak belongs. Dak has the instincts and leadership that you desire in a quarterback as well. His ability to handle egos in a locker room, handle outside noise from the media, and still perform consistently this year has impressed me a lot. He's on pace for 4,500 yards, 36 touchdowns, and only 9 picks. With a completion percentage over 70% and a league-best 6.2% touchdown rating, his efficiency is off the charts. He has gotten better nearly every year, regardless of offensive coordinator changes and head coach changes. Can Dak lead the Cowboys to a first-place finish and maybe secure that elusive playoff win? Could they even make it to the Super Bowl? I think it's all possible because now more than ever, Dak and the Cowboys seem like a real contender.